Hello, this is Kate, the Daily Tarot Girl, and welcome to your weekly tarot card reading. For this week's reading, I am going to be reading with the Modern Witch Tarot by Lisa Sterle. Okay, so I'm going to start by drawing 3 cards. Each card is going to represent a portion of the upcoming week, and I'm just curious to see what kinds of themes, what kinds of energies are coming up for us this week. So if you're new here, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you enjoy this video, please give me a like, leave me a comment, or even subscribe to my channel. It helps me out so much. Okay, let's begin with the first card. Oh, and I want to show you my bouquets. This is from my garden, all my dahlias. So the first card is for the beginning of the week, Monday and Tuesday-ish. And we have the 4 of Wands, and I'm just going to zoom in a little here. So we have 4 of Wands for the beginning of the week. And the 4 of Wands invites you to connect to your community or get involved in your community in some way. It's kind of a social card, and it represents like community gatherings, things like weddings and festivals, fairs, get-togethers, and it's saying get out there and enjoy being part of a community in some way. So that's the first thing I get from the 4 of Wands, but it's also kind of a happy card. And it's got there's a certain sense of stability. And when I look at this card, I see the 4 Wands, which are kind of making they're holding a space. It's holding a space. And the 4 of Wands encourages you to look at all the ways that you utilize space in your life. So how do you utilize the space in your home? How are you utilizing, the space, your working space? Like having a look at the spaces in your life and noticing how do those spaces feel? But more importantly, because the Suit of Wands is all about energy, how do those spaces affect your energy? So is your living environment, is your living space a space that supports you energetically? Like, can you go and spend time in your home or your bedroom and feel like it's a sanctuary, like it supports you and you can kind of, recharge your batteries? Or is your living space stressful and maybe it's messy or cluttered, or there's, not enough beautiful things in it? I don't know. So having a look at your spaces and asking, how can I, if this space isn't really supporting me energetically, how can I rearrange things? How can I make this space a supportive environment that allows me to recharge your batteries? And sometimes I feel like I have my fresh flowers here today. Sometimes just adding a few fresh wildflowers can really brighten the space up. It really changes things. And I notice color is so effective too. I have a pair of peachy orangey candles that to me just are so uplifting and happy, and I have those on my dining room table sometimes, but I find certain colors can be really uplifting, like the oranges, the peachy colors to me are just very, very joyful, happy colors, and red is this very earthy, life-giving kind of color, and so I have a lot of red in my living space as well. But you'll be drawn to different colors, and I just wanted to kind of put that idea out there that using color in your space can really affect the energy of a room and how that affects you overall. Okay, let's look at the next card, 7 of Pentacles. This is the card for the middle of the week, and kind of Wednesday, Thursday-ish. And 7 of Pentacles, there's a couple things here. So there's the theme of nurturing and care, and nurturing the things you want to grow, but there's also this theme of patience. So nurturing and patience. So Seven of Pentacles is asking you, first of all, it's kind of telling you to be patient. Whatever it is that you're working on, whatever it is that you're cultivating right now, patience is key. Patience and consistency. Anything worth doing or worth growing or worth manifesting is worth doing consistently and focusing on it consistently. Seven of Pentacles is saying, are you providing the nurturing and care to the things that you want to grow in your life? And this could be a relationship, a friendship. It could be a project you're working on. It could be an area of your life. Like maybe you want to be more creative and spend more time in creativity. Well, are you nurturing that area of your life? Are you providing the necessary care to that part of yourself? Or are you neglecting it? Yeah, so that's what I'm getting from the Seven of Pentacles, that when you turn your attention on something and you nurture it, that's very powerful. That's very powerful, and it's even more powerful if you're able to keep it up consistently over time. Okay, last card. End of the week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we have the Two of Pentacles. So Two of Pentacles, this is a card of flow, balance. It tells me that this weekend you'll have a lot on your plate. There might be multiple things you have planned. There might be multiple responsibilities that you need to take care of. There's multiple things happening. And your success at being able to pull it all off hinges on being able to remain balanced and kind of getting into a flow, getting into a bit of a flow state. So a flow state is where, for example, yesterday I had a kind of a flow state day where I had a lot of readings to get done. I also wanted to do a workout. I also had a couple of meals to prepare. And then I had a whole bunch of lists of like little tasks that I had to get done and phone calls I needed to make and stuff like that. Really boring stuff. And I looked at my list in the morning. I'm like, how am I going to do all of this? This is very unrealistic. And I thought, well, I'll just see what I can do. And I was able to get into this particular state of flow where I tapped into how I was feeling in that moment. I'm like, okay, I have a lot of energy right now. First thing in the morning, I had a lot of energy. I'm like, I'm going to do a reading because I have a lot of energy. So I did a reading. And then I was like, you know what? I don't want to do another reading right now. I'm feeling like I need to do something that's kind of monotonous. So then I did some food prep. And so I just kind of went with my feelings and my energy state. And I know we don't all have the luxury of being able to do that, to control our whole day. But you can do what you can, control what you can. And getting into a flow state will allow you to get it all done in a way that doesn't feel stressful. And at the end of the day, I got everything done, and I wasn't super drained or exhausted by it all at the end of the day. So that was nice. So yeah, Two of Pentacles is saying, how can you get into a bit of a flow with whatever you're doing this weekend? What's going to help you get into that flow state? And how can you support yourself in that? So I supported myself by paying attention to what I was in the mood for, and then choosing a task from my big long to-do list that kind of fit my energy and my mood. And luckily I had a lot of different kinds of tasks on my list, so that kind of allowed me to do that. Okay, let's look at all of the cards here. They're all minor arcana cards, and we've got a Wands card, two Pentacles cards. Pentacles are earthy. They're very they're very much the day-to-day stuff, taking care of the day-to-day stuff. This is not a very spiritual kind of reading. There's not a lot of like spiritual, mystical cards here. This is like the day-to-day life kind of stuff. I would say the Four of Wands is probably the most mystical we're going to get, with all the talk of like space and energy. I'm noticing there's a lot of plants in this reading. We've got all the foliage and the flowers and everything in the Four of Wands, lots of plants with the Seven of Pentacles, and lots of shrubbery and grass and flowers with the Two of Pentacles. So there's something about this reading and about these cards that feel life-giving, and it feels like things are flourishing. And so I get the message with these cards that things are flourishing for you this week. It might not always feel that way. You might be getting a little impatient. Sometimes you might struggle to make it all work and to get everything done. And you might even struggle with feeling like your space is kind of cluttered and you want to get a little more organized. But know that things are flourishing. Under the surface, things are flourishing for you. Okay, let's have a look. I feel like there's something else that wants to come forward. Some other message that wants to come out of the cards here. And know that you're always welcome to add your own 2 cents in the comment section. So if you want to, like if you're noticing something on the cards or you have a totally different interpretation than me, feel free to share that in the comments. And I always love hearing how the cards like resonate with people, like how they kind of match up to things going on in your life. So feel free to share anything that you want to share. So I feel like this this week is kind of a week of like housekeeping and like caretaking and paying attention to the little details and really paying attention to I don't want to say mundane, but just sort of the mundane stuff, the little things in your day-to-day life. Like these things sometimes we think aren't important, but they actually are. And so Four of Wands is saying just pay attention to the energy in your home and your workspace, and is there anything you can do to make that energy more supportive and more welcoming for you. And Seven of Pentacles is saying, be patient. Things are happening, things are growing, things are evolving, but things evolve slowly sometimes. And make sure that you're providing the nurturing and care to the things you want to grow and the things you want to see flourish. Two of Pentacles is saying, you might have a lot on your plate this week or this weekend, but you're able to get it all done. One thing I want to point out here, the infinity symbol. Now, what I love about the infinity symbol is if you trace it with your fingertip, you'll notice that the infinity symbol goes out and around and back to the center, and it keeps going back to the center, back to the center. And that is the key to staying in a flow state and staying, keeping your energy up while you get it all done, is coming back to your center throughout the day. So having a centering practice that helps you come back to your center over the course of the day. So it could be taking just a moment to take in 3 deep breaths. And I find if I breathe in, and then I breathe out just a little bit longer than my inhale. Do that 3 times and I am instantly calmed. It doesn't matter what's going on. If I do that 3 times slowly, it brings me back to my center. And you might want to do something different. You might find, actually, if I take my shoes off and stand in the grass for a minute, that brings me back to my center. That's very grounding. Or, having calming music in the background while you work might allow you to come back to your center periodically. So whatever helps you return to you throughout the day is going to really support you this week. Okay, so that is your reading for the week ahead. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you find this reading helpful. Let me know in the comments section. I'd love to hear from you. And if you want to learn more about tarot card reading, I have a course right now that is called Tarot for Rebels. It is 13 super fun tarot lessons that I've created for you. And they're available. It's just $37. I'm going to put the link below. So there's 13 lessons. There's also a recording of a live Q&A that I recently did. So check it out, and thank you for watching. Have a great week.